Yo, what's good, Josh Project Man? And today or tonight, and this is not a new mic. Really, it's about to be. Usually I say today. I guess it would be today because in 5 minutes it's gonna be 12 o'clock. But yes, it's not a new mic for those who've been watching. It's not a new mic. I just got the cover back that came with it. Anyway, it's good, Josh Project Man, and tonight. We're gonna talk about the only notable thing from Monday Night Raw tonight, and that is, well, other than Dominic getting on that for the WWE fans, obviously this is what this video for. Only thing we're gonna talk about, other than like I said, or as I was about to say, I should say, Liv Morgan and Rhea, their match is not official, but their match has a stipulation now to it. Dominic will be in the middle in a shark cage, which if y'all have seen that before, basically when you're in a shark cage, they raise you above the ring and literally put you in a shark cage, so you're watching the match from like in the middle up top. So I hope that makes sense. You're in the air in a shark cage watching from like the middle of you're like basically placed in the middle, like the shark cage, boom, you get in the shark cage, and basically they raise it up and you're watching it from like the middle of the ceiling, basically. Not like the highest, you're raised a little bit above, good bit above the ring. Not like to the ceiling, but a good bit above the ring. So he's going to have to watch down. So we're not going to get a custody of Dominic match, but we will have him in a shark cage when Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley have their match. But we'll talk about actual predictions when we get closer to the time about who's gonna win that match. But we're gonna talk about the thing that everybody want to talk about as we get 2 minutes into this thing. Jey Uso, Yeet, the Yeet Master, the master of the yeeting, the yeaster, the yeetster, the Yeet Man. Main event, Jey. Ooh. So, one, the unexpected to most people, unthinkable even, he wins against Braun Breaker for the Intercontinental Championship. He beat Braun Breaker, man. Braun Breaker had exactly a 51-day title reign, ladies and gentlemen. And obviously, we just gonna hit to give our thoughts. This video should be no more than like 10 minutes. First, I'm going to talk about, we're going to break it into parts. We're going to probably break it 3 parts. First part of this is proud of Jey Uso, man. Shout out to what he's accomplished. And, you know, he's obviously worked hard. I think they said 14 years, right, when they were doing their back and forth promo. He's worked hard for 14 years, and, you know, he's gotten really over as a singles talent. I mean, he was over as the Usos, but got really over to the next level. I guess you could say the prime of his career, getting over post Bloodline story. In the Bloodline story and post Bloodline story is the most over he's ever been. So shout out to Jey Uso for the work he's been putting in. I actually saw some things on Twitter, like I think he had the most matches in 2024 so far. So I mean, the dude's been grinding and killing the game, and, you know, spending time away from his family and all that. So it's good to know that all that hard work you put in, there is a reward at the end of it. Because some people say, oh man, you know, y'all say, you know, so-and-so deserves it just because they've been in the business for a while. If that's the case, then everybody should get a belt. But I'm thinking to myself, here's the thing. If you're trying to teach people that hard work has its rewards, why would you not reward people who make sense? I'm not saying you should do that with everybody, but I'm saying if the guy's over like how Jey Uso is, you know, that's a guy who, you know, been in it almost 15 years and makes sense for him to win the belt because he's over, you know. So like I said, starting off on part 1, just saying congratulations to Jey Uso. He's grinding, putting the work in. Whatever you think about Jey Uso is your own thing, but you can't deny that the man is over and that he's just a good dude, man. Tons of charisma, tons of personality. You know, we've seen him cut good promos. My only criticism of his character is I wish he would cut more real promos, because now it's kind of like using the yeet almost as a crutch rather than as a thing that is a part of his real promo and his it's like, it's different if the yeet just became a part of his promo. Like Stone Cold would still cut great promos, but they would just say what at the end of every sentence. I wish that's what it was with Jey Uso. You're cutting a serious promo, but it's just they made yeet in between. I wish that's what it was, but that's my own, my really only criticism of Jey Uso. Like, you know, you can criticize his in-ring, but I'm accepting of the fact that like everybody in pro wrestling is not going to have the best matches in the world because they can do a bunch of cool flips and dives and moves, or they utilize the powerhouse style the best. That, everybody's gonna have their own style, whether you like it or not. It's your own prerogative, your own opinion, but everyone's not gonna be Rey Mysterio, Shawn Michaels, whoever you consider some of the Kurt Angle, some of the best wrestlers. Like, everybody's not gonna be them, so yeah, some people like Hogan and Rock and Stone Cold just got basic move sets, and Jey Uso has his own basic move set, that he does. But that's part one. I'm gonna get off on a tangent. Part two of the thing about I thought about this. I'm gonna save what I thought in terms of what I would have done for last, but I'm gonna go. Part two is gonna be like the climax. For everyone who's not going to like this decision, which there are people that are not going to like this decision, to this I say, at this point, it's kind of like pick your battles, because we've seen champions hold the title for way shorter and lose to somebody, especially with like Money in the Bank cash-ins. We've seen this multiple times before where a guy didn't hold the championship that long and got cashed in on whatever, or something just happened where they didn't hold the belt for any type of real time, so it's happened like this before. It's kind of like, at this point, pick your battles, right? And again, I'm one of those people who I'm okay with the decision, but on one hand, it's like I said, I'm gonna say my actual thoughts at the end, but as far as the Braun Breaker Jey Uso debate of who should have won. Yes, I was one of those people who thought Braun Breaker was winning, but again, Jey Uso, like I said, put it in the work, and he's over. That's the thing. It'd be different if it was just a guy that they just chose, who's just been doing this for a while, so we should just give him a belt. Like, no, this guy's been selling merch. He's been over in every country and place he's ever been. So it was like one of those, it's only a matter of time before it's like, man, how long can a guy be over until you finally give him a belt? So in this situation, I'm thinking, I guess they thought to themselves that Braun Breaker was really the only one who could afford to lose this match, because I actually thought of this in my head. I didn't even need the internet. I think Jey Uso has competed for the world title 5 times and lost 5 times. Remember, he was the first 2 title defenses for Roman Reigns' first 2 pay-per-view title defenses for Roman Reigns were against Jey Uso, right? Clash of Champions in 2020, Hell in a Cell I Quit match 2020. Then he faced him at SummerSlam in 2023. He faced Seth Rollins on a Monday Night Raw for the World Heavyweight Championship. He faced Damian Priest at Backlash this year. And that's when, the big the wave of the Yeet was really popping off with the lighting being added to it. And so, yeah, he's competed for the world title 5 times, 3 times against Roman, 1 time against Seth, and 1 time against Damian Priest. With Seth, it was on the Monday Night Raw. With Priest, it was on Backlash this year. And then with Roman Reigns, it was Clash of Champions 2020, Hell in a Cell 2020, and SummerSlam 2023. All 5 dates of him competing for a world title, and he didn't win any of them. And then on top of that, the Intercontinental Championship, I think he's probably gone after it a few times, but the only one or maybe he hasn't. I'm just gonna say is the one I remember he lost to Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship. So he's gone after the Intercontinental Championship probably more than once. It's only one I can remember, but he's probably gone after it more than once. But the world title, he's gone after 5 times and lost it. And also, he lost Money in the Bank this year. That's another big moment that they skipped out on. He lost Money in the Bank, lost the world title all 5 times he competed for it. Lost the Intercontinental Championship match against Gunther when he was the champion, and now against Braun Breaker. That would have been like his 6th failed attempt since he's been I guess you could say since the Bloodline era. He's competed for the he's competed for a singles title, I guess you could maybe say, or maybe you could say ever since his singles career. We'll say that ever since his singles career, he's lost like 6 or 7 major moments, whether it was becoming world champion 5 different times, whether it was being the Intercontinental Champion, or whether it was being Money in the Bank briefcase holder. He's lost all of these big moments. There's like 6 or 7 big moments he missed out on while he was over, by the way. And some of this was before the Yeet started getting over. It was just he was over. It was main event Jey Uso. You didn't even need the yeeting part. So again, it's one of those, no matter how you feel about his in-ring work, you got to admit, like, at least they put it on a guy who's over. I get it. Again, the whole Braun Breaker's buried talk, and you already know that's going to start because fans just like to over-exaggerate. But that's not the case. He's going to be fine. And another reason why I'm accepting of this booking is because every legend in the business didn't have, they all had long title reigns. But like, come on, bro. We've seen some of the greatest of all time have short title reigns, or double digit title reigns. Like, it's not like Braun Breaker's the first ever person to lose a title in that amount of time, and then they ended up being completely fine after that, by the way. So that's why I say it's kind of weird for people to get so upset about it, because it's like, if they are, because it's like, again, they put it on a guy who's, at least they put it on a guy who's over, that's number one. And number two, it definitely created a moment that would make you remember this Monday Night Raw. This is stuff that people are going to look back on. And of course we ain't go 10 minutes, God done it. But anyway, this moment people are going to know and look back on. And it just, shout out to, Jey Uso. It's funny how Yeet and Yeah are Intercontinental and United States champion. One has Yeah, the other one has Yeet. So it's funny how the mid-card champions just both have a over word, a word that's over with the crowd. That's a four-letter word that starts with a Y. It's just funny how that ended up being the case. So Jey Uso and LA Knight. That's crazy. Just noticed, I just thought about that. But yeah, so and what they have in common is, like I said, they both got the four-letter word that starts with a Y that's over with the audience. And also they've both been getting good reactions every time they get out there, good to great reactions every time they get out there. So it's one of those, you can only be over for so long until you do have to get some type of reward. I mean, if you're selling merch like crazy and the crowd's yeeting with you and everything, and with LA Knight, the crowd was going, yeah, I mean, we were saying this with LA Knight. Like, it's how many times is this guy going to go after a championship until he has to win it? Like, the Logan Paul match felt like the last chance of him winning a title, or else it was like, okay, this LA Knight guy is like probably gonna wear down, because it's one of those, how many times can we do this song and dance routine with you until you actually like win something, And I feel with Jey Uso, that time was gonna come, and it was close to me of like, when is this guy gonna, how many times we're gonna yeet with him until he's gonna actually win a championship as a singles competitor. And my thing is also this, the last thing I'm gonna say about the part two, Jey Uso would have not accomplished anything, like, assuming that he's gonna compete. Like, that's the rumor that we or that's what we're all thinking as fans, is that it's gonna end up being Solo's bloodline versus Roman, Jimmy, Solo, and maybe Sammy, or just someone to do a kind of bloodline warfare based off of everybody who's been involved in the bloodline story. They're gonna join forces and stuff like that, right? OG bloodline versus the new one, whatever, right? That's what we're thinking is gonna happen. So if that's the case, how strong would Jey Uso really look joining back or reuniting temporarily or not, or with his family, if the whole time he was a singles competitor, he didn't win a single championship? Like, you're supposed to be this, I thought, yeah, like, imagine how he would look going back to Roman Reigns, not winning anything by himself. That whole year he was gone from Roman Reigns, and you didn't win not one singles championship. That wouldn't have looked good. So I hope people understand, it gives Jey Uso, one, a reward for getting over and doing this for so long. To me, you gotta have both. You gotta be over as well. But also, it's a situation where, like I said, it gives Jey Uso some credibility in this singles run that he's had. Whether you like it or not is your own opinion, but to give this run some credibility, you gotta have him win something. I was fine if he would have won Money in the Bank, but they didn't do that. I had my whole video on that. Y'all can watch that. But yeah, so you got to give the man something for what he's done. Because he's over, not just because he's been doing it for a while, but because he's also over, one of your hottest stars right now. I mean, it's funny how they both have a guy for each brand. LA Knight is their hottest star, and he's the mid-card champion. I mean, there's top stars, but LA Knight would probably be one of their hottest ones, and Jey Uso is that for Monday Night Raw. So it's funny how they ended up getting both a white hot individual for Monday Night Raw who hasn't won a world championship and one for SmackDown. It's funny how that ended up happening. They just freaking got blessed with that one. But anyway, and both guys that people look at as main eventers as well. So, shout out to Jey Uso and all that type of stuff. Like I said, that's my whole discussion on just the potential debate we might see in the community. Last thing I'm gonna give is my thoughts on it. Like I said, my thoughts on it, and I'm gonna wrap this up. My thoughts on it is just, personally, I wouldn't have done this just because I would have continued to build Braun Breaker as a beast, and I just feel like something just feels right about Braun Breaker taking a good while, not like a year, but like 4 to 6 months it takes him, or like maybe 6 months at a time. This guy is freaking losing matches. Like, he'll go something about that intrigues me, like Braun Breaker going multiple months without losing. Like, you don't gotta go, like I said, not like Gunther where he has to go like 2 years, but something about him going months without losing to me intrigues me and makes him more of the like dominant beast. So if I were doing it, I would have kept it on Braun Breaker because that's just my mentality. But again, last thing I'm gonna say here, I can see why they put it on Jey Uso, because again, if one of those, how many times can the fans believe in Jey Uso? I believe in Jey Uso. How many times can the fans believe in Jey Uso? It's like saying similar with LA, not the same, but similar with LA Knight. Like, how many times can we do this guy shtick with him and he never wins a championship? Like I told y'all, this was Jay's like 6th or 7th attempt at something that would have boosted his singles career. 5 world title shots, an Intercontinental title shot, and the Money in the Bank briefcase. He lost all of those major crowning singles moments. So like I said, it kind of destroys Jey Uso's credibility if he does nothing in this singles run or accomplishes nothing in this singles run. So even if they're gonna hot potato it, which I think is gonna be kind of a messed up, I don't know if they probably will hot potato it because they probably just wanted to give Jey Uso this win just to have a moment and to give him something. But I don't know if they should hot potato it just because it's kind of like, Gunther spent 2+ years trying to build the prestige back. So to start hot potatoing it months after he lost the belt is kind of like you're kind of just pissing all over his hard work. Sorry. But yeah, you kind of just, taking a crap on the guy's hard work by starting to now, bounce it back and forth, but even if there's interference, when they inevitably have a rematch, it's kind of, I don't know, kind of destroying the credibility of the title when you start hot potatoing it like that. But y'all let me know in the comments down below how y'all feel about the situation. I'm gonna get y'all up out of here. But at the end of the day, what I say, it is what it is, and what it's gonna be is Prodigy continue to make content for you guys because I loves what I do, and we got to do what it do to get going, rolling, and keep going full steam ahead into this YouTube game, making sure we can make our bread off of this thing and we can all rise together as a community. But I shall see you young boys and girls in the next one. But until then, you have heard the message from the only man that matters in this community. This is DJ White. So without further ado, let's get it. Till I see you guys again. Peace.